So let's continue with our unit now. Now you can see in the slide here, uh, they have shown like four sections, four pillars are shown to you. They are basically computers, okay? Like they have given the year on the top there, 1965 to 1980. When you said you had IT into your businesses, what actually it had? I mean, because basically that time computers were not very much technologically advanced, so you could have just an operating system there and some of the custom applications in the sense any one software. And so every system like that over a period of till 2000 and ahead, now up till now, they have given you four pillars there, and you can see how these internet applications or IT applications here into the business with the help of the computers, how they have developed, how the hardware also has developed. Just take 2 minutes and observe the slide. First, you had mainframe centralized computers in the very first 1965 from that period, and everything since the existence of internet and the use of internet was not much. Everything that worked was with the help of LANs, sharing of documents or anything. And over a period of time, mainframe computers have changed now, and you can also see that we have different kinds of databases. It's not just any one kind. You know the different kinds of databases that are used. So along with these, whether it is an RDBMS or a simple DBMS, then you have many varieties of operating systems based on what kind of applications you run. You also have network securities. Everything is now like compact. Everything is given in one single computer, and you want to connect any external devices, that's also possible. Network over the cloud or security over the cloud is possible. So over a period of time, we can see how IT has helped us to grow. Then moving to the next part. So we have the title as characteristics of internet ready IT applications. So this is from examination point of view. This is usually asked in the exam and is important question. All you have is just the simple 8 points to mention there, and for 5 marks this can be asked. So now you can see that support large number of users and of different interests and abilities. If you talk about in currently after after the year 2000, we know that businesses are turning into automation automated mode now. And basically also it is not like just one particular department or a few people of that business are making use of software applications or IT, but in general it is the all the employees, all the customers, any number of stakeholders who are into coming in that range of that business or that organization are able to use these applications, are able to perform their day-to-day activities. So it is going to support n number of users, a large number of users, and any number of interest, because businesses are not just specific now to any one kind. You have all kinds of business on the online mode. Then you have provides display on multiple devices and formats. So if we go back again below the year 2000, when smartphones did not exist, people who had the desktop, the CRT monitors, the very olden time CRT monitors, that those kind of a desktops, even that was considered like a status symbol. Only okay, only these people are having, which means that he is really into some kind of technical field, or he is into some very good business. But now it's not like that. With the help of these applications, with the help of these IT businesses that are running, you can see that we have grown so much. We are able to run the business on laptop or on smart devices, smart phones, or even on desktops. So all these compatibility has increased over a period of time. Even if you talk about now just a simple website, okay, a simple e-commerce website, it is developed in such a way that they are able to carry out running of that business even on smartphones or even on tablets, even on laptops, desktops. all electronic media. Then you have large secure servers, that is basically since everything is put over the cloud and it is global now, we definitely need a huge amount of data to be stored, and for that we make use of servers which have to be secured. Then the important point here is single sign on and authentication and authorization. Okay, so you know what is authentication and authorization? That is basically only those people who have the correct username and password should be able to log in, and they are able to access that particular module to which they belong or the department which they belong. What is single sign on now? You must you have already done it multiple number of times. Okay, maybe you're not aware that it is called as a single sign on. Like for example, you have Google. The moment you open the browser, Google Chrome, at the topmost right corner, you have there a user icon, and you click on it, and you are able to sign in. Suppose you have already signed in there, and you are able to use many different applications with that sign in only. It will not ask you again for signing in. Like if now if I click on Gmail and I have the same account there, I'm directly taken to my inbox. Or if I have to open, say I'm opening the Quora Digest, so there also on the Quora I'm directly, it'll give me options whether you want to sign in through Google. It's if it's already signed in, it'll automatically take me there. So that is called as a single sign-on, wherein again every now and then it will not ask me for signing in. So one best example is Google and its sub applications like Google Maps, or you have Google Calendar, you have Gmail, then you have Google Drive. So once you have signed in the browser, and if you happen to click on Google Drive symbol, or you click on Gmail, you click on any of its applications, you're directly signed in there. It is taken as you're signed in. So that is what is a single sign on. Then these internet applications, again, they are compatible with any kind of operating systems, whether it is non-friendly or say non-graphical user interface like Ubuntu, Linuxes, or even Windows, or even for that matter iOS. Then you can easily connect them to any kind of a database, even the RDBMS. Then you are able to develop, or say even if the applications that are already existing, there is a variety of programming languages that are available in the market now. So and most of these programming languages are again compatible with different kinds of platforms. So multiple programming languages can be used. They can be made more compatible, they can be made more user interactive. Then leverage storage capabilities and backup systems, meaning the storage capacity that is needed now currently to manage the kind of applications we are using, they are definitely not lower end. Now they are going on a higher level. Okay, so what when we talk about the storage capabilities that we require for these systems, that is we need more, and also a backup is needed. At any given point of time, the data is definitely going to increase in the coming years. It will not decrease because the number of users are going to increase there. So leverage here means that we are trying to lift up, we are trying to go one level above. Then you have different types of networks and internet services. So again, talking about networks, you have studied in data communication and advanced CN how networks work with each other, how they, with the help of protocols, we are able to transfer the data, store the data, resend the data. So these are certain characteristics of internet ready IT applications. Now, before we proceed to the next slide, I have a small video clip for you. Okay, I want you to listen to that. If the video is in Kannada, so all those who understand, well and good, you listen to that particular video clip. Okay, and observe properly to each and every point that he is telling. We will not validate that video. We will not discuss whether that video is right or whether the video is wrong. I have a few questions for you after I play the video. So make sure that you listen to it properly and carefully. I will play the video clip here. Let me know first if the sound you are able to hear, you are able to have a clear sound. This is the audio. I mean, clear. Is the screen visible? Tell me first of all, is the video screen visible?
Ma'am, screen is visible, but we are not able to hear anything yet.
You're not able to hear. Just see now. Is it audible now?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. How do I play this? Okay. I guess now it may be visible for you and audible. I mean.
जी ने दुनिया भर के 131 देशों में कोरोना
Yes, ma'am.
सर्वे
Yes,
किया
ma'am.
और
Let me
इंडिया
start
पर
it
जो
from
रिपोर्ट
first.
आई उसमें कहा
Listen.
गया है कि
Okay, the video is in
21 मई
Hindi.
तक
That's
भाजी
good.
ने दुनिया भर के 131 देशों में कोरोना पर सर्वे किया और इंडिया पर जो रिपोर्ट आई उसमें कहा गया है कि 21 मई तक भारत कोरोना से 97% आजाद हो जाएगा और 18 जून तक भारत कोरोना से पूरी तरह आजाद हो जाएगा। ऐसा सिंगापुर की यूनिवर्सिटी ने दावा किया है। ये यूनिवर्सिटी भी आपको बताते हैं कौन सी, सिंगापुर यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी। इसने दुनिया भर के 131 देशों में कोरोना पर एक सर्वे किया और भारत के लिए अच्छी खबर यहां से यह है कि 21 मई इन्होंने डेडलाइन दी है कि भारत 97% यानी करीब करीब पूरी तरह 21 मई तक भारत कोरोना से आजाद हो जाएगा और 18 जून तक भारत कोरोना से बिल्कुल आजाद हो जाएगा, यानी एक भी केस कोरोना का भारत में नहीं रहेगा 18 जून को। तो क्या कहा है सिंगापुर यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी एंड डिजाइन ने, ये आप जानिए। मई जून में कोरोना मुक्त इंडिया, 21 मई तक भारत से 97% कोरोना खत्म हो जाएगा, ये यूनिवर्सिटी कहती है। ये कह रहे हैं 18 जून तक भारत कोरोना से पूरी तरह मुक्त हो जाएगा। 97% तो मई में हो जाएगा और 18 जून तक पूरी तरह भारत में कोरोना का सफाया हो जाएगा, ये कह रहे हैं। आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के जरिए यह विश्लेषण किया गया है। तो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के बेसिस पे ये दावा सिंगापुर की यूनिवर्सिटी कर रही है और ये केवल भारत पे नहीं, दुनिया के 131 देशों पर ये रिसर्च है इनका। मरीज के संक्रमण और ठीक होने को आधार बनाया गया, यानी कितने लोग मरीज पॉजिटिव पाए जा रहे हैं और कितने लोग किस तरह से ठीक हो रहे हैं। 8 दिसंबर तक दुनिया से कोरोना वायरस खत्म हो जाएगा, 100% खत्म हो जाएगा, यह कहना है इस यूनिवर्सिटी का। इटली और स्पेन को लेकर सही रहा है इस यूनिवर्सिटी का डेटा, इसलिए यहां उम्मीद और जगती है क्योंकि जो उन्होंने इटली और स्पेन को लेकर दावा किया वो सही रहा है, सिंगापुर की यूनिवर्सिटी का दावा। इसलिए अब ऐसा लगता है कि यह यूनिवर्सिटी जो कह रही है उससे भारत के लिए अच्छी खबर है।
न्यूज़ टॉप 9 रोज सुबह 7 बजे।
Okay, so did you listen to the video clip?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Good
Can
news.
yes, good news. Yes, hopefully it works. My motto is not that. I wanted to ask you, can you relate it to BI? I mean, can you relate it to business intelligence, your subject? No. What did the video tell? Okay, first of all, tell me what had the video message for you.
That some university in Singapore has used AI and they have come to a conclusion that by June India will be free from corona.
Correct. So, did you listen to his words? He said that they have predicted the same thing for Italy and Spain, I guess. And it is based on the data that they have collected. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So, when we talk about BI in the upcoming chapter now, you have we are going to study about data. That is how data can be classified and what are the categories. But from the beginning, I'm telling you that there is a lot of data involved when we are saying that businesses are automated or they are turning online. Where everywhere you see there is data, everywhere there is you see there is information, and this data or information that I'm talking about is stored somewhere. So where is it stored? It is stored in the databases or on the servers. And like yesterday only we understood about online book this ticket bookings, right? So I told you this, once you try to book a ticket, your data is stored, and next time you just have to, you directly are logged in there. So it means your username and password are acting as data, your registration details that you have given are acting as data, and they are stored in the database. So similarly here, this Singapore University has collected data from these countries which are, I mean, which are in the stage of recovering or which have already recovered. And how, what are they trying to do is they are trying to analyze that data. Whatever data they have got, they are trying to analyze it. They are trying to understand that, okay, like say from the, first of all, this, what is the population of that country, how many people are above the particular age, how many people have taken vaccines and how have they recovered, which people are getting more affected, which age group is getting affected, and over a period of time after say taking vaccines have they recovered, and how those countries are now moving out of that COVID. So here I showed you that video clip because my aim was to make you understand that BI or AI, they are related, they work together. Business intelligence is the subject. We are talking about data here. Data is everywhere. Wherever you see, you will see data now. You have to see data everywhere. That is how you have to study this subject. And all this data is going to be stored all the time. And all the time we are going to study that data, we are going to observe that data, analyze that data, and then try to predict. See, simply predictions are not made. It is not astrology that they're talking about. They're not making predictions based on planets and how they're revolving and all that thing. It is not astrology. They are making predictions based on some facts and figures, some data that they have collected. They have studied that data properly and then only they are making the predictions, and it has turned out to be successful. So hopefully for India also, let it turn out to be successful. So did you understand what the video clip was about? Are you able to relate
ma'am.
now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. How
Yes,
about
ma'am.
others? Should I play it once again so that after my explanation, maybe you will concentrate once again on that video clip? See, the subject here is theoretical. You have to pay attention right from the beginning. Otherwise, when you write exam towards the end, it will turn out to be like software engineering again. It is going to be really tough. The syllabus is vast here and it's very easy, no doubt, but then you people should also contribute from your side right from day one. Make up your minds, exams will be there, online classes only will happen, and this is how the subject is about. So my I hope you are able to understand why I showed you that particular video or audio clip. Okay, so now irrespective of whether you have actually gained some knowledge from that or not, let's move to the next slide here. Now here they have given us the classification for two kinds of business applications. Okay, so you can see that you have ERP managements, that is enterprise resource planning applications, and you have customized or bespoke applications. So these both are related to businesses again. When we say business, it means that there is going to be data and they will need a software or they will need an application, since we are talking about business turning into online mode. Then in software engineering, you have already come across customized or bespoke applications. So can you tell me what are these? Let me call out names now randomly so that you people answer. Neha Lohar, Neha Lohar, are you there? Are you paying attention? Neha Lohar, roll number 633. I guess you just plugged on the earphones. You're there.
Yes.
Can you tell me what are customized or bespoke applications? Do you remember from software engineering?
No.
Why? Neha Bamne. Please respond. Miss Neha Bamne, roll number 635. I'm going to keep a record of this, okay? Towards the end, when your project marks are to be given and when attendance is to be counted, no? The students who have not responded will not be given marks. Last time I'm calling Neha Bamne. Are you there in the meeting paying attention? Do we have Meghna Chaugle? Let's come to Dia.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, can you enlighten me on the first one, customized or bespoke applications?
The applications that are developed for a specific reason, using the customer's requirements, specific applications are developed.
Correct. So, customized applications or bespoke applications are those which are developed for, say, a particular business only, or are developed keeping a particular set of customers in mind. That is why the term is customized. So, you don't develop a generalized software. You will develop it only for one particular organization or an enterprise or a team or a dedicated team. For only those people you are trying to develop this particular kind of a software application. So that is called as bespoke application development. Then uh, the the new trend that has come up in the market now is, instead of going for trying to build customized applications for different organizations, you can convert them into ERP. You can go for enterprise resource planning. So what is an ERP? The full form is enterprise resource planning. So basically in enterprise resource planning, we are trying to avoid the same kind of a design. Okay, like for customized applications, if you say we have say we have three colleges in Belgaum. Let us consider we have Gokte, we have GSS and Jain. All these three colleges require software, whether to just store the student details or to take their day-to-day attendance and keep the fees records, update the marks, all these things. So now again, based on the three different colleges and their needs, the company can either give them three different kinds of a software, but the base here is going to be same. That is, they're going to have the same kind of operations. Students, basically, they're the data here. Students are the data. So the whatever operations are going to be performed is going to be on the students and their data, trying to store their details and update marks, etc. So instead of going for repeating the base design, the new trend that is developing ERP kind of applications. So enterprise resource planning or ERP softwares are those which will try to cover any different kinds of departments and different kinds of functionalities that are involved in the business, right from the smallest department to the most largest department. So that is kind of one whole console application that is given to you. So if you talk about, like, you have industries in Udyambag, they prefer to go take the service of an ERP rather than customized applications. So they will have everything, including their supply department, the manufacturing unit, the raw materials, the vendors, everything is integrated there. Everything is combined one by one, because basically ERP application means the data flow is there from one department to another. The data is going to be present in all the departments, and the same data is viewed in different ways. First, there is going to be intake of raw materials. That same data is passed to the accounting for bills. Then the same data is again given to the manufacturing unit, and they will keep a record as to how much of raw materials have come and how much is used. So the same data is going to be shown everywhere. So instead of going for customized, it is better to go for ERP kind of applications. So this is about the two different kinds of IT applications. So I guess we'll stop here. Drop in your attendances, and any discussions to be done, we can continue. Peter, you come in only to give the attendance. Don't do that. Attend the class.